Okay, so hi everyone. I just wanted to start off today by introducing ourselves. For some reason on the live, I can only see my face, but we'll see how that's strange. Oh, I think if I make you, here we go. Okay, so. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, I can hear my own voice on the live. Okay. Okay, definitely this will be better in the future. We'll have gotten through some of the little tech things. We're a little bit new to all of this. I'm kind of technology is not my I'm not good at it.
It's not your forte.
So for anybody, no, it is not my forte. So anybody who is new to our videos, I am Piranha, which is my drag name, and out of drag my name is Fran or Frank. I am a queer leftist and an artist. I use they, them pronouns, and I am 17 and turning 18 in 11 days.
Oh, really?
Yes, actually 11 days. Melora, would you like to introduce yourself?
Ooh, I don't know if I can have such a great intro after that. Goodness. Well, as Piranha said, my name's Melora. I use she, her pronouns. I am 17 and I am not turning 18 in 11 days. That's 6 months for me. But yeah, I am a singer and I am a activist and social justice person, and I do all different types of stuff. But yes, that is who I am.
Awesome. So I just wanted to put a little bit of a, I can't think of the right word, but to start, I wanted to say that we are doing this work through Core Press, a feminist book printing company in Tucson, Arizona. My and Melora's opinions are our own and may not necessarily reflect those of Core Press. This presentation was created by me, and Melora has yet to see it, so our conversations are unscripted other than the presentation script that I'll be reading and this right now, which I am reading. So that was my little pre-thing. So anything to add, Melora?
I'm sorry, I'm like a mess today.
No worries.
I'm like out here using like I always do my hair before these but I was tired, so now I have to put it up. Oh gosh. But otherwise I'm fine.
Hey. So with that, I'll just, jump right into my little presentation for you and for YouTube.
I've been waiting for this for so long. Everyone who does eventually watch this, I've been waiting so long. I'm very excited. So, fire away.
Okay, and I'm clicking share screen. Okay.
So. Wait, I already knew that this was what the presentation was about. I sound all excited. I sound all surprised.
Okay.
You're right. Canva does look cool. I should use this. Just surprise my teachers. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
My
there's
friend told me about it.
it's super fun. Anyway, so
This looks very good.
So welcome to my presentation. Today I wanted to share with you all, this presentation is going to be about like propaganda, specifically religious propaganda, and focusing on one example, which is this alt-right Catholic online media outlet. And I wanted to have a conversation about that, and hopefully while talking about this one example that I am giving, kind of go deeper into this idea, just using this example, specifically talking about religious propaganda in the 21st century. At any point, Melora, you can interrupt me to add anything or ask any questions. Obviously,
Gotcha.
this is your show too. And or I can just ramble, whatever happens. So yeah, so and I also wanted to talk about, connected to religious propaganda, how religion and the people who are presenting religion to people, specifically organized religion, how the people presenting religion to people can influence their politics and influence their confidence, their self-image, how they live their lives, the things that they are guilty about, and how people use religion as a tool to brainwash people. So with that, I'll jump in. So this is the homepage of the YouTube channel. They have a website, a YouTube channel.
Jeez.
And so one day I was watching YouTube videos and I got this really crazy ad, and I haven't been able to find it since. I've been like waiting and waiting so that I could screen record it, and I haven't found it since, and it's so frustrating. Yeah, and it's not on their account either. I get this crazy ad, and it's an ad for this YouTube channel and their voter guide for Catholics, which I'll get into later.
Don't we just love telling people what to do? Goodness.
Yeah. And I immediatay was like, oh, this is good. This is gonna be really interesting. So as you can see, there's gay priests, and yeah, right off the bat, it's like a lot. And so immediately I had to sign up for their newsletter. And it immediately went to my spam box along with the Catholic Voters Guide. And here is how many emails I got. This is within like
Yo. Whoa. Oh my God.
Yep. This is every single one of these emails.
I would complain.
Is from them. Every single one of those is from them.
That sounds terrifying. That actually looks terrifying. Looks so scary.
Yeah.
All of those, like in one day, or like over like a period of a couple days, or like a few.
This is, I believe, over like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, I don't know why I said
she just didn't show up.
So this right-wing Catholic media group is called Church Militant. It's owned by a man named Michael Voris. Their media company is called Saint Michael Media. So there is a Saint Michael, but you can infer that it's most likely named after the man who owns it, Michael Voris. I don't know much about religion, but that seems a little bit sacrilegious. I think that's, I don't know. And yeah, you named it. like he's calling himself a saint. Is that right? Anyway, so before I share all of my opinions on this rabbit hole I found myself in, I wanted to start off with sharing a few clips from their YouTube channel.
Ooh,
So that everybody watching and you, Melora, can get a little taste of
a little,
of
a little.
all of this, and to make your own opinions for yourself, because yikes, I have a lot of opinions. And also,
and that's okay.
Yeah. At the beginning, when I first started recording, I couldn't figure out how to record the audio off of the computer. It was recording from my speakers, so the audio's a little weird, and I had like horrendous hiccups. So you can hear hiccups in the background of some of the videos, so I apologize for that. But later on, the video quality gets better.
You were all good.
I couldn't re-record things. It got crazy, but anyway, I'll just start showing you the videos. Okay, here's the first one.
And I want to make sure that the New York Archdiocese hears this. Coming
Hi, I think I got disconnected. I realized I was connected to the wrong internet, so it disconnected me. Were you able to see that whole video, or did it cut off?
No, I only heard like a couple words at the beginning.
Okay.
And then I just kept looking at his haircut because I was like, wow, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't help it. It was just so bad. It was so bad. I was like, oh my god. He looks like he's from like the late thousands when people were going through those weird like phases of like he looked like he had Justin Bieber hair. Like in the baby era. Like so.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But we can watch the video again because I didn't really see any of it at all because it cut off then.
Okay. Yeah, I will share my screen again. Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Yes. So present.
Ooh, the presentation just looks so cute. I'm seeing like all these little things on the side. I'm like, oh, this looks adorable.
Right?
This looks adorable.
Here it is.
Well, she just didn't show up. And I want to make sure that the New York Archdiocese hears this coming from this studio right now. We know, and we know that you know, that there are homosexual priests living with their gay lovers in various rectories in the Archdiocese of New York. We know that, you know that, you know that we know that. And when we're done with this case, or as we continue this case, we're coming after every one of those two. You clear out that homosexual collective running the church in New York and in many other places around the country, or we and faithful Catholics all around the country will clear it out for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh, but like that's just like so. It's just so funny to me when people think that they can just do things. I'm like, you can't though. Like, what are you gonna do? Storm the place?
Well,
burn people on spikes? Like,
well, Catholics have done both of those things.
Yes. Yes.
So
mess.
so I guess they
Anyway.
can.
They can, but like, will they today? I know that like,
They
ugh,
have
I don't know,
hosted
man. This type
not
of stuff is
military,
so.
but other Catholics currently have hosted protests and things like that because of gay priests.
Jeez, I don't understand. I mean, I do, because homophobia is rampant
Yeah.
within the church, any church community, really. But yeah, I
So
just give up. Like,
yeah.
go retire. Like, I don't. God. But that's just so, like, scary. Like, I can't, like, it's so funny to me how these people don't think that they're the problem. Because I'm like, you are a problem. And I don't, you're just difficult. Like, I can't, I just can't, I still can't get past the haircut. Like,
Yeah.
you really expect me to take you seriously?
Oh, you just wait. The language in these, like, there's no way to take this seriously, but then
It's
that's
just so childish and absurd. I just like
Yeah.
sit there and I'm like, why? Like, why do you actually dedicate 5 minutes of your time or more talking about this every single day? It's just absurd.
and it gets worse when you think about it because
Yeah.
so I talk about this later on. So I won't go too deep into it because I have like
Yeah.
points in my presentation about it. But that's the really concerning thing is that, for you and I, we've seen this kind of stuff so much in our lives that it's like we can just be like, that's ridiculous and laugh it off. But like there's
no. Yeah.
I following for these YouTube videos, and that's
Yeah.
really concerning that like
Yeah, no,
people
yeah.
believe these things, and like it's just like a really long process of brainwashing. And I'm sure they would say that we were brainwashed, but
yeah, I don't mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like laugh. I just, that's
no,
just
I'm
how I
agreeing with
react.
you.
Like,
No, I'm agreeing
because
with you.
yeah,
That's the
okay.
thing. It's
Sorry.
funny. It's
Yeah.
funny to us. No, I'm totally agreeing. It's funny to us, but when you start to think about it, it becomes a lot less funny.
No, I don't think that, the thing is that I don't think it's like funny. It's definitely something that should be taken seriously. I just like, with anything that's like shocking to me, like I laugh. I have very immature responses.
No, it is funny.
Always
He
like,
does, like the funny things. Like this next video makes me laugh so hard. So for
yeah.
like the next one, I'll just tell me how many points you get for this next one, because you'll see. I'll just
Points?
So
if I don't laugh?
Yeah.
Remember, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. So buzzing around the Biden-Harris ticket are child murderers, homosexual activists, climate change fanatics, illegal immigration, open border enthusiasts, poorly catechized Catholics, and so forth. The Marxists.
The Marxists.
Do they just all have the same hairdresser?
This
Like-
is the same guy.
Oh, that's the same guy? Oh
Yeah,
my
just
God, he looks so old here.
yeah. That previous video is a little bit earlier.
Different person.
Yeah. Yeah, this YouTube channel has been around for a while, and I've
my
never heard anything about it. Yeah, and I also think they love to call liberals Marxists, and I think it's really funny because as somebody who personally is a communist, like an actual communist, it's so funny to me for them to call Biden a communist, a Marxist communist, like when he's like, not that at all. Like, if they met me, like, mind blown, because I'm just like,
I love how people always think that capitalism is just like the answer, because no one actually knows what these terms mean. They just like throw them around. And it's like, I know, you just throw them out there.
Actual Marxists hate Biden. So like, no. It's just,
I bet they were just like, let's use a different term than like communism so that we can just like, put fear in these God-loving people. Ooh.
they call Democrats the Marxists in like
you
single
don't
thing.
even know
It's
what
so
that means. It's just so hilarious how they've basically transformed like these socioeconomic like systems into something that you like that's not even so like socioeconomically related. Like it's just hilarious to me. It's like, oh, you are this,
you
rather
know,
than actually
but
wanting like change. Like it's like, no, you are the enemy, blah blah blah. I'm like, why don't you do research? But then again, you're not going to do research, so it's like
it's very strange. Yeah.
I really thought that he was a different guy. He looks like a flight attendant.
Yeah.
I really thought he was a different guy. What happened to his hair? Did he just like lose color? And like
I'm gonna guess it's a toupee, and that's why it changes color because it's a different toupee. But I'm not.
he looks so bad. I don't
Yeah.
mean to be like mean, but geez. Ooh.
It's the hatred emanating. Later in this video, he says he calls Democrats the party that hacks up little children and sells their pieces for profits, and then
Wow.
but also promotes gay sex like nobody's business.
It's hilarious how they do no research, like at all. Like
And then he says, abortion is the religion of the Marxists. Taxpayer supported, nonstop, constitutionally protected gay sex is a really close second.
gosh, I'm actually speechless. I really don't know what to say. I have no words.
Taxpayer supported, nonstop, constitutionally protected gay sex.
I can't really, I really can't have like a full-blown conversation with these people. I mean, like, I already deal with my grandmother. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so bad.
Yeah.
I can't, like, oh God, okay.
So here are two posts from their Instagram account, and like, it's so close to
Guitar mass? What is that?
like when they bring out the acoustic guitars and sing Kumbaya. It's like so close to being funny. It's so close to feeling like this is all, a joke that they're just trolling, But the farther and farther I delved into this, it became clearer and clearer that this was not. This was not a joke. And in the last video, he uses the phrase, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Like, and then there's like memes like this on their Instagram, and it's like, it's so easy to just be like, this is so stupid, and like this goofy old dude is just like out of his mind. But then you take a look at the people that watch these videos and the additions that they add to the dialogue in the comments, and it becomes so much less funny because you realize that like when a person presents,
people actually believe that stuff.
When a person presents these things onto YouTube or in one of their articles, they're presenting it in a way that's supposed to, persuade people towards their point of view. It's supposed to persuade people who are right on the line to going to their side of things. So they're not going to say the most crazy of the things that they believe in these YouTube videos. So what's happening in their minds, we can assume, is one step farther. And when you look at the comments, you know that the people who are watching this are collecting this information and turning it into something even darker and even worse in their minds. So like here, I skipped one. So this is one of their videos.
What flag is that? I always forget what flag that is, and I feel so bad.
That's the Russian flag. That it's also used as the communist flag.
Is that a Cardinals outfit? The fact that I even know that.
So this
a woman tag. Ooh.
these are some of the comments on
Evil people, men.
video. In the comments of this one video alone, his adoring followers, and when I say adoring, I mean really adoring, they comment on every single one of his videos, talking about how inspiring he is and how much they love him. And I mean, they really love him. And it's a lot of comments just like complimenting him and talking about what a great Catholic he is.
The gay mafia.
Yeah.
Is now attacking straight male It's so funny how straight white men are so fragile. I'm just like, okay, like, please, like, just go, like, away.
Right.
I found that saying the truth actually gets points across much easier instead of, like, you know, just dimming it down and being like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Let me just, like, simplify it for you. No, let me tell you the truth.
Right.
You're fragile. It's sad. Please learn.
Yeah. So,
oh, God.
In the comments of this one video alone, his followers call gay people demons, perverted, pornographic, satanic, sick-minded basket cases, alphabet supers, and Tide Pod addicted morons.
Do demons actually show up at people's houses? I'm sorry, I was reading one of the comments. They'll change their tune when a demon shows up in their house and rants and waves. Oh God, I'm gonna sit back. Just speak. Yeah.
Right, and there's more. It like crazy business. Something huge is going to happen soon where every human will have a choice. Choose God or Lucifer. That's it. The sheep will be separated from the goats. Wake up, folks. You'll see it big time. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Is it really propaganda if you are not, like, you know, I don't know. Like, I love how it's like this, like, oh, it's a propaganda to turn me into the LGBTQ plus community and like all this other stuff. I'm like, is it really propaganda though if you are still straight? Like,
well,
it's not even propaganda anyway. So like, it's inclusivity is what it is. Like, stop. Just
we'll get to that question because
ay.
There's more to that, and we'll get there. And
yeah,
it gets real weird. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out, like, because it is so easy to be like, these people are crazy and just like brush it off.
Yeah.
In the 10 Stages of Genocide by Gregory H. Stanton, he says that the first step is classification. And us above them based on a party of who they are. So it's like they're saying goats versus sheep, Lucifer versus God, gays versus Catholics.
I actually did, when I was in my sophomore year, I actually we were asked to choose like a specific genocide to do research on, and right. I chose the Rwandan genocide because I had already done like a small little project on that for another class of mine that year. So I wanted to fully focus on that one. And my teacher in English asked us to do the 10 stages of genocide specifically related to the genocide that we chose. And I still have that presentation, actually. I have like, awesome. I remember some of the different steps, but I know, classification, and then there's like, but continue.
Yeah, it's very interesting to use that and think about things that people do today, because it's like, oh, that's weird that we're in multiple stages of genocide. Like, that's scary. So that's the first step, and the second is symbolization. And they say using. I'm reading quotes from the website. So that the website of the 10 stages. So it says using derogatory names as markers for groups. So as we see here, the LGBTs, they're like
the gay saints.
Yeah, things like that. So they're obviously using that a lot.
Yeah.
And the third is discrimination. Obvious here.
Yeah.
And the fourth is dehumanization. So I noticed that in a lot of the videos, he and his followers avoid using personifying, empathetic language when describing people that they don't support. One of their favorites to use is a wolf in sheep's clothing, a predatory animal masking as its prey. It's fear-mongering, and what worries me much more than him is the 244,000 people that have subscribed to their YouTube channel and watch religiously. They just adore him, and what they are willing to do, it is concerning what they are willing to do to defend their views. Keep in mind that the name of the channel is Church Militant, so that's alarming. It's, and these, I really didn't, there was a lot of really horrific things in the comments. I tried to keep them lighthearted, but there were far worse things than this, blatantly threatening lives and just really disturbing and disgusting things. And, it's alarming that and in all of these, they're using language, they refuse to speak about people that they disagree with as people. They describe them as animals, which is a very common thing in previous genocides. People called Jewish people rats, people called Black people a large list of things. And so it's whenever people use describing people as animals, describing people as sheep in wolf's clothing, in this one goats, it's very immediately off the bat concerning and a big red flag. So here's their voters guide. This voters guide is really important because
that isn't even anything. I don't understand. Trump is nothing. He hasn't even read the Bible. What are you talking about?
No, and I get into his politics a little, or not his politics, his religious
Why
things.
is it so long? I would literally not read any of that because it's so long.
Oh, I read the whole thing, unfortunately.
You read the whole thing?
Yeah, I did a lot of research for this.
No, no. I full respect.
Unfortunately, I read the whole
of
thing.
Errors. List of errors concerned by Pope Pius. I'm terrible with Roman numerals. I don't know.
Me too.
I don't know.
I think that this voter's guide is a really good example of the power that specifically Michael Voris, the man who is the face of Church Militant, has over his supporters. I mean, I'm sure he didn't make it. There's an entire team of people, as you can see at the end here in this little screen grab. There's they do little videos that have different people at them. There's a large group of people that work on this. They have their own studio and all of these things. But he's, the biggest face of it.
Yeah. They really love the Pope Piuses. God. I'm sorry. There's three different Pope Piuses on here. Geez. Have y'all had enough?
It's an example of the power that he has over these people and how dangerous that can be. Church Militant proudly supports Trump and thinks that the election was rigged. I know this because they sent me so many emails about it. In a poll from their followers, they said that 90% of Republicans thought that the election was rigged. Obviously, this was
the other 10% didn't.
From their followers, so these are all people that watch their videos. So it's not really, that's not really unbiased, but I read the entire voter's guide sent to me, but honestly found their evidence very faulty and often to unintentionally defend Democrats. In their issues column, they have one is Democrats, the middle is the catechism, which is the basically the rule book of for Catholics. And then on the other column is Republicans. And they tried to, in this part, it was, somewhat unopinionated, because they took all of their little blurbs from the, Democrat Party official website, the Republican Party official website, and directly from the Catechism. It's all like quotes from those places. Excuse me. And so so for when talking about universal health care, they share this quote from the Catechism. It says, this is what they're arguing. They're arguing that this part of the Catechism is talking about universal, or talking about different examples of healthcare. So it says, Catechism 1908. Certainly, it is the proper function of the authority to arbitrate in the name of the common good between various particular interests, but it should make accessible to each what is needed to lead a truly human life: food, clothing, health, work, education, and culture, suitable information, the right to establish a family, and so on. So I have these written here,
Wow.
which personally I think sounds a lot closer to socialism than privatized healthcare. So the definition of socialism, as given by Google, like this is what comes up when you search it up, is a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. It promotes that each person is given, that their necessities are met. So like this said, each person should be made accessible to each what is needed to lead a truly human life: food, clothing, health, work, education, and culture, suitable information, the right to establish a family, and so on, which many people do not have currently because of capitalism.
Yes,
So,
but they don't even know what that is. So they can't.
no, they
which
don't.
is so sad.
And they're trying to use this example to defend why can't I?
It's okay.
That they're trying to say that this is more conservative than democratic, which I don't believe that this supports either. I believe that this supports a radical point of view that everybody deserves healthcare, and everybody deserves to have a human life, and include in that food, clothing, health, work, education, and culture, suitable information, the right to establish a family, which is not currently accessible. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. That is.
Yeah. And so then the next one that they have,
there are over 2,000 catechisms.
I guess.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How do you have like 2,000 different ones? I could never.
A lot of rules
that are different. Different. All 2,000 something of them are more different.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So then the next one is about environmentalism. And it says, man must therefore respect the particular goodness of every creature to avoid any disordered use of things which would be in contempt of the Creator and would bring disastrous consequences for the human beings and their environment. And I thought that this was an awful point to make to support Trump, who, as you can see here in this article, this article that I am showing the headline for here, it says Trump administration makes it easier for hunters to kill bear cubs and wolf pups in Alaska. One of many examples of how they have hurt animals, which is
they also poach animals in Africa as well.
Yeah,
I know that like there's like a huge thing about his sons like poaching animals, like I think it was like maybe like cheetahs or something, and then like elephants, lions.
He
really bad.
He went to Africa, and yeah, it's bad, really bad. So, and this, killing these animals messes up. The reason that these animals were protected was because the wolves and bear, they play an important role in the food chain. And when they are killed by hunters, deer populations go up, which, you know,
because there's nothing else to like eat them.
So extremely damaging to the environment, as well as the border wall, which the border wall closes off the migration path that wolves make, that a lot of different animals make. It has almost wiped out many populations of animals. It's really bad for the environment. Trump also has, there's a long list of things. Anyway, we're on limited time. I don't have time for all that. But they said in the Republican column that Republicans were the like founders or something like that of the environmental movement, which I thought was really interesting. And they said almost 100 years ago. And then I was like, hold up, 100 years ago. So the 20th century, that's when Republicans were Democrats and Democrats were Republicans. So I have that shown here from the Wikipedia article. Theodore Roosevelt, who was the environmental guy, he did environmental things. That's who they most likely are referencing there in the Republican website. He was a Republican, but then that's when the party switch happened. So that's just a blatant lie. So that's that. And then this last one, human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of conception. And linked here is US still hasn't reunited 666 children with parents after zero tolerance at border. So obviously that's not protecting children. I also find it, I find it ominous that the number happens to be 666. And these Catholics are trying to support Trump. I think that that's an ominous sign. 666 children? That's odd. That is odd and really sad and really scary. Yeah. So in addition, they were trying to support, obviously they supported Trump, and this was all to support Trump. So I wanted to share this quote from an article from the National Catholic Reporter, from an article detailing how Trump has committed all of the 7 deadly sins.
Must lie at times.
Huh? What did you say, Melora?
No, I was reading the quote. It says even the best politicians must lie at times, but then they say that it violates an explicit commitment, and I'm like, choose a side. Like,
well, what they're saying here is that all politicians are sinners, which I really like that. And I wanted to share this because this is from the National Catholic Reporter. So this is another example of a different Catholic media company, and I wanted to highlight this as evidence that not all Christian people are monsters. Not all Catholics are awful people. Like at the Church Militant area of the Catholics, they're very opposed to each other. So there's also an article from National Catholic Reporter about how Trump has violated all of the 10 Commandments. So the quote says, "Self-interest is not a Christian virtue. Even the best politicians must lie at times. Deceit violates an explicit commandment. But what we see with President Donald Trump and his cast of sycophants and co-conspirators, some of them beginning to flee the sinking ship on advice of counsel, is a rare thing. all 7 deadly sins on display at once. So the article is really great. If anybody watching wants to go look it up, it's the 7 deadly sins. If you look up 7 deadly sins, Donald Trump, National Catholic Reporter, I'm sure it'll come up. And there's also the 10 Commandments article. And, you know, it's a really great article. And I really like that they point out, you know, every politician commits sins and does something anti-Catholic, but, you know, the person who many of these Catholics are trying to support as the most religiously superior, they're trying to say that Donald Trump is the more religiously superior candidate when he has displayed all of the 7 deadly sins, all of gone against all 10 commandments. He's also funded multiple abortions, and he's a real bad dude. And again, just gonna bring it back here. All that is bad. So yeah, so that's that. So the next video I'm gonna show really just says it all. I think it looks so cult-like, and that really scares me. Like, I honestly think that this man could easily start a cult with these people. And anyway, I'll just play the video.
This ship is sinking, and everyone on this ship is going to die. But I have a lifeboat right here, and you don't have to go down with the ship. You can be saved.
How creepy is that?
It's just so funny to
It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
how no one in any type of Christian faith can respect the fact that not everyone is a freaking Christian. Like, yet I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I deal with my grandma a lot, so.
Yeah.
Who I've had to lie to about the fact that I believe in God because of fear of what she might say to me.
Yikes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, who said this?
So this is, right. So this is from an article written from somebody who quit their job at Church Militant. Again, they use the wolf phrase, and they're giving a really personal example of how much people just like really love this guy. So it says, "This is a very weird blog post for me. I never thought I would be the person to write something like this. After all, I've spent most of my 5 years being a faithful Catholic, denouncing idiots who wrote these posts. I was a fervent daily watcher of Church Militant, and Michael Voris and others like him in Catholic news were my heroes. They were the revolutionaries who were going to save the church from the jaws of the wolves in cardinals' clothing." So this is like somebody who worked for him. He watched these videos and like was just obsessed with this guy, and then he started working there, and he realized that this guy was, sorry, I'm trying to find my
No, you're totally fine.
That that this guy was not who he thought he was, and he quit working there because he ended up like not agreeing with some of the things that they did, and saying that they were doing a lot of it not out of like belief, but out of well, that they believed it, but like I don't know. Anyway, that they did things for shock, that they like purposefully did these things, and they did like anti-Catholic things and yada yada. I just think that's like just the last sentence. They were the revolutionaries who were going to save the church from the jaws of the wolves in cardinals' clothing. Like, I think that really says it all for how these people see this guy, how they see people who are other than them. Again, easily start a cult. That is so scary to me. Yeah. So now that we've talked about the politics and the community a bit, I wanted to share this little snippet from the so there was a video made about Church Militant from The Atlantic a while ago that I found while researching this group, and I debated whether or not to share this clip, but I felt that there was an important message to share from this, so I'll just play that. Oh, hello.
19 and kind of
Here we go.
19 and kind of started a life of, I guess you could say, sin. For 13 years, I searched and searched and searched, and I tried to find any outlet that would make me feel that how I was living my life and what I was doing was okay, and I never found it. Church Militant had a lot to do with my coming back to the faith. My mother actually is the one that got me starting to watch Michael Voris. Michael went through similar things. So for me, it was that light of hope, like you can overcome this.
I had some early to midlife confusions.
Most of my years in my 30s, I lived a life of live-in relationships with homosexual men. In a large portion of my 20s, I also had frequent sexual liaisons with both adult men and adult women.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, so both of these dudes, first of all, the way that they look at each other, I'm not saying, well, anyway, it's sad, but it's also like enraging at the same time. That it's just, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to, yeah. Oh wait, no, don't watch that yet.
Oh, his hair got worse.
Yeah.
19
stop it.
and kind of.
So, I think that it's really important to show this. Like, I didn't necessarily want to share.
It's all
this.
the white men for me.
Oh, it's all white men and then one brown woman.
Oh, God.
I don't know how she got there, but a lot.
They're trying to be inclusive, you know.
Yeah.
You know how they
there's
are. They don't actually want to be diverse, but they just add people in so that they can say that they're doing diversity and equity.
So,
you know,
Michael,
it's the token POC.
Yeah, oh yeah. And, you know, they have these two men, Michael, the guy who started it, and this other guy who have been brainwashed into no longer that's not right. They've been brainwashed into conversion therapy, you know, and both of them have really sad stories. I mean, Michael, the reason that this guy, the reason that he decided to seek out conversion therapy was because of Michael's videos, of seeing this other guy who was able to convert, and because his mom told him to. And I'm sure there's more to that story, obviously, but and Michael, his mom died, and he decided that because she didn't support him being gay, that he needed to convert, and that's when he started Church Militant. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, it's just
when
sad.
It's sad because these, they have to live the rest of their lives hating a part of themselves that they can say is not a part of them anymore. But that's not true. And so many people receive conversion therapy, and the science shows that it it does not make you not gay. It makes you suppress those feelings, and it makes you sad. It makes you, you know,
Yeah.
it's sad. Like
It's inhumane, really.
inhumane.
I mean, yeah.
Knowing, I mean, it's really
just
important. Like a large group of people watch this man, and a large group of people who, you know, have found that they are gay. They have found that they have these feelings, and they don't know what to do with this, right? They've figured out they're gay, and they're religious, and they don't believe that they can be both of those things. They see this man, and they look up to him because he was able to put those feelings aside and suppress them. He's straight now. And they look up to him, and they think that they can do that. And in the comments of his videos, there's many people who are telling him that he inspired their sexual reversion. Like, I've read these comments. There's lots of people saying, thank you, because of you, I was able to become straight again. And that there's a large group of queer people living their lives constantly fighting who they really are because they fear going to hell. Misinterpreted quotes from a Bible, along with channels like these, make people hate themselves and live their life a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that, it makes makes videos like this, next one that I'll show you, just feel a lot crazier. So I'll share this one now.
Yeah.
All the riots, all the politics, all of it is about sex. That's why Black Lives Matter was founded by lesbians. That's why there is a race to the bottom in both political parties to embrace all things gay.
Oh, yes, because, you know, Black Lives Matter was totally based on the fact that people just want to have sex all the time.
It's all about
I mean, we're really,
everyone
is just a nymphomaniac, okay?
The
Black
Lives Matter riots are about gay sex, Melora.
It's just so, God, everything, like, they really just, like, take everything away from you, essentially. Like, I'm sorry. Like, me being, like, a white passing POC, like, just seeing all of this is like, wow. Yet I'm not surprised. It's just so, like, I don't know, man. It's just, like,
It's so
I feel offended.
weird.
I feel very offended by everything presented by them on here. Not even just with Black Lives Matter, just like everything else. It's just so offensive. And I'm like,
it's just such deep-rooted brainwashing. It's really crazy when you think about it. Like,
I know.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I realized that I realized that I forgot to say in my introduction, like, one of the most important aspects about my identity. because I am, like, for those who do watch this, I am a POC. I have a Black mom and I have a white dad. So seeing, like, that type of stuff, along with, like, you know, all this, like, anti-LGBTQ plus propaganda that they, like, portray is just so sickening and also deeply offensive, considering, like, you know, like, they just, I don't know, the way that they just, like, twist everything into them, and the fact that I actually have to, like, talk to these, like think about this type of stuff, because because my grandma, who, like, for some reason just doesn't realize that she has Black family members, oddly enough. Like, my two brothers, my baby brother, along with my other little brother, like, and my stepdad, and her own daughter, my mom. It's like, you do realize that voting for Trump and supporting people like this affect your family. Like, my brother almost got run over by a Trump supporter while on his bike while passing a Trump caravan because he's a Black boy.
Yeah.
Like, they literally scraped him with their truck on purpose. And it's like, you know, you realize that these people that you support, that you join Trump caravans in, also try to kill your own grandson. That's Black.
It's like, oh God,
And like, you know, hearing like my own, like, because my best friend, she happens to be a lesbian, and so like she talks to me a lot of the times about how like she is harassed every single time she goes out of her house.
Yeah.
Like sexually harassed, like all the time, because she is femme and she's a lesbian. And so like she just talks to me all the time about how that affects her and how she's had to like stop doing certain things because she's afraid of the fact that people might do something to her.
Yeah.
You know?
And like,
and it's just so sad for me to hear, because it just makes me want to do something, and we should feel like we have to do something is the point.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, is like that's so obviously anti-Christian, anti-Catholic, like anti every religion, like every organized religion has something in it about loving everyone and caring about everyone and taking care of your neighbors. Like every
Yet you commit torturous practices that make you very inhumane, like conversion therapy and electroshock therapy and all these other types of things. And I'm like, dude, no.
And support, I mean, churches significantly provided bail to what's his name, the guy who shot those people,
oh, the one that was recently released.
Why can't I think of his name?
I don't.
Churches significantly provided his bail.
Oh, his bail was like $2 million. My mom was telling me about
a lot
that.
of money.
Because I think that also not just churches, but like other like white supremacist people who are like, you know, racist and homophobic, like also raised bail for him.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. Just like I wasn't as raised in the church as like my mom was. But anytime that I have had to go to like church like a lot of the time, especially when I'm with my grandma, and she always is like, oh my gosh, Priest Frank wants to meet you and blah 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 again because he hasn't seen you since you were 2. I'm like, oh, I don't know who Pastor Frank is.
It's me.
Yes, I wish, gosh, but it's just like, because for me, like when I think about like me going to, when my mom tells me a lot about when she was little and going to church, she always like tells me that she always had like questions about certain things that didn't make sense to her whenever like stories in the Bible were read. Like with Noah, I know that like she was saying that it didn't make sense to her that like all these animals could like fit on there, and that it was very like odd that like the world just suddenly like had a gigantic flood. And you know, she had like questions about like populating like after the fact, and like none of those questions were answered. She was always forced to go. She hated going. Like I don't know, like, and then I didn't have to go, obviously, because my mom is not like, actually, we're just not a religious family. So
yeah.
But when I was little, I kind of had to go whenever like when we were around my grandma. And I remember like a lot of the times, like, I don't know, I think that like, I mean, one of the things that definitely stays with me now, I remember when my grandma, I think I don't know how old I was, but I was like younger. And I remember one time I started to like cry, and she told me to stop crying because tears were from the devil.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
And
That's crazy.
Well, I remember like after that fact, I like hated the fact that I would cry. And I feel like in some way, yeah. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't remember.
How, like, religion, they're just like, repress your emotions. Like, it's so weird. That is weird. I've never heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't think she remembers saying that to me. Obviously, I wouldn't, like, I don't know. But I remember it, and I remember after that, like, feeling like oddly weak because I would cry. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times today, like, I'm just not a very emotional like person in that sense. obviously repressing emotions is bad, everyone. You should feel them all and try to, you know, be open to them as much as you can. But I'm not like, I just don't like cry a lot today, I think.
Yeah.
And so I feel like in some ways, a lot of the times, I always think about like the fact that she said that to me. And I also remember like when I was in like 4th grade, maybe I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. And at the time, like I think, and I was like living in, or maybe this was like the year before. I think it was in like 2014, because she always reminds me like every April. She's always like reminds me like mostly every year. I think she's like stopped in the last year or two. She's like, today is the day that you accepted Christ into your heart all those years ago. And then I'm just like, I remember that day because at the time when I was living in Kentucky, I lived near like Richmond and Lexington is like a very big city.
Mhm.
And I lived in Berea, and I went there for 3rd and 4th grade. And my grandma lived in a place like in like a little small like rural type town called like Crab Orchard, but she lived a little bit further out from like the small town, and where she lived only had like a few houses like down the road. It was in like more like a little country-ish type area. She lived across the street from Mennonites, and there were like other people around as well. But she had like 5 acres of land. She had like a huge tree. She had like a gigantic area where you could play in the back. She had a trampoline. She had a barn with animals. She had like a huge, like, I don't know, like, it looked like one of those, like, she had like a warehouse type thing where she stored a lot of things in there, and it looked like it could be like a private airplane hangar.
Huh.
It was very big. And she had like a bunch of gardens, and my papa would always build different like stuff. He built like greenhouse and all that type of stuff. But I remember there was like a storm one time, and her trees around her, like a bunch of like big branches fell onto the ground, not on her house, but like onto the ground, and they were like huge. And so we had to like break them down to use for like a bonfire that she wanted to make. And I remember I'm not sure if I was still living in Berea at the time. I think I was, because I think it was 2014. I think it was before I moved to North Carolina. So I must have been in 4th or 4th grade. I think I was 9 at the time. And so I remember she was telling me, she was like doing like work and like breaking down the tree branches and the sticks and stuff like that, and I was helping her. And she was like, gosh, I am so glad that I'm going to be going to heaven after doing all this work, because goodness, whatever. And so like I was young, and so I believed that we would all go to a good place after we died. I was like, yeah, me too, blah blah blah, just to be like whatever. And then she's like, no, you're not. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, well, because you haven't accepted Christ into your heart, Melora, you were going to hell. And I was like, I remember feeling like so terrible. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
I remember feeling so bad after the fact. And I was like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And that's when she was like, well, you can accept Christ into your heart, Melora, and blah blah blah. And that's what that's like what I did that day, even though like I wasn't like I wasn't like an adamant Christian at all, or any type of religion.
You don't want to go to hell.
Yeah. So, and now like I think about it, I'm like, because like we said in the beginning, like I'm 17 now. I'm like a few months away from turning 18, and at the time I was like 9. And so like of course all kids like to believe that there's like something better once we leave, I guess, you know. And so now when I think about it, and like I just think about like the stages after that point in which I got older, that I then began to lie to my grandma about believing in God.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid of how she'd react.
Yeah. Well, we are over time.
Oops.
But
Oh well.
no, you're fine. You're fine. But I just wanted to. I found the sources that it says one article says that Christian fundraiser site earned over $250,000 for the Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse, and then an article written the next month says Christian group raises over $500,000 for Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse.
Because they believe everyone can be saved.
Yeah.
Delicious. Yes.
Crazy. That is crazy.
That's also disturbing to me in the Catholic Church. Like, you
Yeah.
could literally commit murder or molest a little boy and, like, be like, oh, I'm forgiven. That never happened.
But that's the thing is, like, yeah, there's weird, and it's like, why are those people forgiven, but then gay people who have not hurt anyone, evil and going to hell, like, those people can only be saved if they convert, but like people have killed people, which is like a permanent thing. That's like a permanent thing. Like, you can't go back on that. You can go back on being gay.
Literally a 10 commandment type thing. Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah, there's all the thing. Anyway, we got to wrap it up. This is over. I'll leave you all with these questions to consider on this subject. Think about these things. Talk to yourself about these things. So what is the impact of the media that people consume? What is religion's place or lack of place in politics? When is something brainwashing? When is guilt important? And when is it harmful? And I think that's my last slide. Thank you for watching and supporting us.
Yes.
There's our YouTube channel where there will eventually be more things. Subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, do all the things.
Indeed,
right?
Yes, please.
I love that I'm like holding it up like I'm gonna add something in here later. No, I'm not.
We're real YouTubers. We are real YouTubers.
Probably where you're watching this right now. Then there's our Instagram, Core Press. Then there's my Instagram, Piranha. The Piranha_Queen. That's my main account for my drag. And then and where you can easily contact me. And then Piranha Bait, which is my art account, which I forget to use. And then below that,
same with my other account.
Below that is Melora's Instagram, drama_king with 4 G's. Wait, 5 G's?
Yeah, 5 G's. And it's my main account. And you can also contact me in a couple weeks when Christmas break comes.
Right now.
I'm taking a break because I need to focus on schoolwork and this and college.
That's all. Thanks for watching. If you watched this whole thing, you're the best. And
indeed, yes.
You get
and thank you again.
Virtual high five. Fives.
Yes.
Okay, that's all. Bye everyone.
Bye guys.